Okay, we're going to go over some story problems here. I'm going to do two examples. You've seen these before, but it's just a reminder of how to do them. So number 9. Ball is launched in the air with a velocity of 700 feet per second from a height of 26 feet, or 25 feet, sorry. Calculate how long it takes a missile to hit its target that's 15 feet above the ground. Okay, so we're going to need a side box. We're also going to need a little box here. Then we need kind of a big box here, okay, because that's where the work's going to take place. Okay, so my units are feet and seconds. Those would be the two units. So feet and seconds. Okay, so I would want my x to be seconds and y to be feet, and then when I do my feet per second, when I look at that, I know my feet per second is going to be 700, okay? Okay, so we now know that the missile goes up, but it comes back down, okay? And what I want to find is where it lands, but today it doesn't land at 0 feet, okay? It lands at 15 feet, so I need to put 15 feet right here, okay? So I know that this represents gravity, this equation does, okay? So gravity, negative 16x squared, that always is gravity, plus, and then my plus would be the 700x. Okay, and then it begins at 25 feet. Okay, it's launched from 25 feet. That's where it goes from, equals y, but y is not going to be 0. Instead, y is 15. So we want to put y, and we want to put 15. So I have to solve the equation for x. So there are two answers. And not only do I have x squared, I also have x. So that means I want to clear one side. So this 15 would need to go. Okay, so now what I have is I have negative 16x to the second plus 700x. 25 minus 15 is 10 equals 0. Okay. And now there's 3 terms, so I would want to go with my GCF. Would want to figure that out, and then after that's done, I would want to make my T-table. Okay, so GCF, we have a negative right there, okay? So negative, now we don't have x, we got x, x, no x. Okay, then let's look at 16, 710. Well, 10's my smallest, okay, so 10. So factors of 10, we have 1 and 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 10 doesn't divide by 3, and it doesn't divide by 4. Then I'm just back to 5. So let's see what I can divide by here. Let's check 10 first. Okay, 10 doesn't work. It's a decimal. Let's check 5 out. That's a decimal. Check 2 out, okay? Okay, 16 divides by 2, 700 divides by 2, and I already know that 10 divides by 2 because that's the list it came from. So the GCF's negative 2. So negative 2 is factored out, and then I divide by negative 2. So negative 16 divided by negative 2 is positive 8, and we'd keep the x to the second. 700 divided by negative 2 is negative 350x, and then 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. Okay. So I run my A, B, C from up here. Okay. So I take A times C, it'd be positive 8 times negative 5. And that's going to be negative 40. And I'd be looking for a difference of 350. Okay, but the problem is 350 minus 1 is too high. Okay, 1 and 40. I don't know what I'm doing. 40 divided by 1 is 40. 40 minus 1 is already less than 350, so this is going to be a fail. Okay, won't work. So if that's a fail, I'm going to use my quadratic formula. Okay, so opposite of b would be positive 350 plus or minus the square root, parentheses to the second, minus 3 straight parentheses. Okay, so b would be negative 350, and then 4, and a would be 8, and c would be negative 5. And then down here on bottom I have 2, and I'm going to take 2 times 8. Okay, so I know I have 350 plus or minus, and then I take 2 times 8, and that's 16. Now we're going to figure out what this square root is. Okay, so the way to do that is to make 2 square roots. First I take negative 350 times negative 350. It's going to give me something. And then I take 4 times 8 times negative 5. Okay, I got 122,500 minus, and then I take 4 times 8 times negative 5, and that gives me negative 160. Okay, so whenever I'm minusing a negative, we switch it to addition of the positive, and then I go 122,500 plus 160. Gives me 122,660. Okay, then I find the square root of that. So I square root 122,660. That's 350, okay? So it's about 350. So I'm going to put 350 down here. And I do my math. I take 350 plus 350. I click equals, but then I need to divide by 16, and that's 43.75. Okay, and then I take 350 minus 350. Well, that's 0. Divided by 16 still gives me 0. Okay, so here are the two answers. This is the real answer, though, the positive one. 43.75 seconds. Okay, and then there was one like this, which we have not done for quite some time. A pitcher has dimensions of 16 by 20 inches. We're going to build a frame around the outside. The frame's new area will be 396 square inches. How many inches wide should our frame be? So I'm going to split this in half. And the first step is I need to draw the shape. Okay. So my shape I know is 16 by 20. Doesn't matter which one's which. 16 and 20. Then I have to remember to measure the outside because I know from here to here is 16. And we don't know this. So that's X. We don't know this. So that's X. Okay, and from here to here is 20, that's X, and that's X. Okay, so I need to make 2 parentheses, okay, one for the length, one for the width. So my length is going to be 2X plus 16, and then my width is going to be 2X plus 20. Now when I multiply this out, there are going to be 2 steps. Okay, step 1, I multiply, I do the FOIL method. So I take 2x times 2x. I take 2x times 20. I take 16 times 2x. And I take 16 multiplied by 20. Okay, so we have here is that's 4, so 4, and then x to the second, and then 40x, and then 32x, and then 320. Okay, so I multiplied all those, so that's done. Okay, now what I want to do is look at my highest power. It's to the second, so I want to make blank. Blank x second plus blank x plus blank. So for x to the second, I have 4. Okay. For x, I take 40 plus 32, and that's 72, plus those, and then 320. Okay. Now, that's the first part. Now, the second part, we take this down here, 4x to the second plus 72x plus 320, and I set that equal to what they told me the area was, which was 396. Okay. And now I solve the equation. It has two answers. And we have x to the second and x. So when we see those, we need to get everything to one side. So I'm minus 396 and minus 396. Okay. So that's going to be 4x to the second plus 72x. And then 320 minus 396 is negative 76, so I put minus 76 equals 0. And now I have my three terms, okay? GCF and my T-chart. Okay, so the GCF, I do not have a negative in front. We don't have x and everything. Now let's look at 4. 1, 4, 2, and 2. Maybe we can divide all those by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 72 divided by 4 is 18. 76 divided by 4 is 9. Oh, 4 is going to work, so I factor out a 4, and then I divide everything by 4. So it's going to be 1x to the second plus 18x minus 19. And I do my ABC from here. Now the T-chart normally works. This does factor. So A times C. Positive 1 times negative 19. And that's negative 19. So I would look for a difference that equals 18. Okay, 1 and 19. That's 18. Got it. Okay. A equals, A is 1 here, so I just need two parentheses. So, okay, so XX, 1 and 19, and we have plus 18, so we're going to have plus 19, and difference means they have to be opposite. Now, we did have our GCF here of 4, so what I do with that 4 is I bring it down here, but if it doesn't have an X, I really don't use it to solve, okay? So x minus 1 equals 0. X plus 19 equals 0. Plus 1 plus 1. 1x equals 1, so I get 1. Minus 19, and 1x equals negative 19. Okay, now the positive answer is the real answer. So what they did was what you found is they have a picture and the frame needs to be 1 inch on all sides, okay, for it to give me the area of 396, because that would be 18 by 22, and 18 times 22 is 396, okay.